And here we are. It's 9 o'clock here. Uh, there's Doc. What's happening, Doc? My hair is a mess. Got to lay underneath the kitchen sink this morning or this afternoon, put a new faucet in. Yay. My favorite thing to do. Excuse me. One of these days I'm going to figure out how to do my debut software. So you guys can watch what I'm doing. Yes, it is, Doc. It most certainly is. We'll see how it pans out. Man, I got 5 of you in here all of a sudden. Oh, that goes to 2. I got a like button and then somebody disappeared. So the chat box is doing something strange. What's up, Benjamin? Still riding shifting gears. Yeah, I still got mine too. I haven't sold it yet. I'm pretty close to wanting to do that though. Man, I hope. I mean, we couldn't get so lucky, but you know, they're gonna get that dumbass out of office first. So my little plumbing project, I bought this faucet probably 6 months ago, and I just haven't had time to put it in. It started raining today, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to get that knocked out. So I started working on this project. Of course, you reach down there to shut the valves off, and of course, the cold water valve doesn't shut the water off. So it means the valve's bad, and I tried tightening up the packing on it, and it didn't work. So I ended up running to the, excuse me, hardware store and got a couple of sharp bite quarter turn valves. Those things are slicker than snot, let me tell you. This house has got CPVC in it for piping, and man, it worked great. I just cut the old ferrule off and stuff I had on there and slid that dude on there, and that was all there was to it. I mean, I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. Anyway, yeah, we got well water. Yeah, that's the problem too. Since I had to change that valve, I had to shut all the water off to the house. And I don't know why or why it's not in code, but there is not a shut off in the house. I have to go out to the well house and pretty much disable the pump and drain the bladder tank to get the pressure off of the system. Um, like I said, there's no additional water shut off, which is pretty stupid. And I was like, well, good opportunity to change the whole house filter while I'm out here. And I look at it, and it's been 4 years since I changed it. I'm like, holy crap. So there was definitely some sediment in the bottom of the deal. Of course, you know, being a well, it picks up sand and that kind of stuff. So I was like, well, I'll change that whole house filter, and that way I ain't got to worry about it. Should be doing it about every 6 months. But anyway, so yeah, I got that one. I looked at the hot water, and they only gave me like this much flipping pipe left. So I know if I cut the thing off, I'm not going to have enough room to slide that shark bite on there, and I'd end up having to do that whole water line. I was like, nah, I don't want to jack with that today. I'll do that some other time. But anyway, if you could imagine this big ass body getting snaked underneath that kitchen sink to get up in there to get that faucet loose, it was probably a sight to be had. Of course, there wasn't anybody here but me, but I got her whooped. Yeah, I've just got the dock in mine. I've just got the single filter. I mean, I never have upgraded it. I thought about it, but oop, I'm all gassed up today, nowhere to go. Um, yeah, I thought about changing. I just never have. I'd love to do the one out there at the well house. It probably ought to have a pre-filter and a post filter, and right now it's just got a post filter. So obviously, if it's got any of that sediment and stuff that the pump picks up, it's going to go right into the tank. But it gets filtered before it comes in the house. Hey, Danny, what's up? Where do I work? I work for a Chevrolet dealer. I am a heavy line technician for as long as this body will hold up for me doing it. Oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. But anyway, so the good news is it doesn't leak and it's fixed, and we have a new faucet and it works like a champ. We've got water pressure. So, oh, yeah, it was getting a little lax on water pressure. I'm sure the thing was getting plugged up. Like I said, I mean, if you look at some of it, it's got a lot of sediment buildup. We have that problem in the house. I mean, I wish we had a better filter system, to keep the stuff out of the house, but that's the nature of well water. And believe it or not, the water tastes pretty decent. Now, I drink water out of the fridge like it's going out of style. In fact, that, between that and work and the fridge has actually two filters. I've got one of those long filters. This thing's probably this long, that's hanging on the back of the fridge that's in line before it goes into the fridge. And then it's got the fridge filter. It's a Samsung, so it's got one of those canister filters. It's probably about that big around, probably about that tall, and it does a real good job of filtering. I don't know, the rocky or sandy taste out of the water. But if you look on the inside, I have the stainless mug that I drink out of, and I'm not the best at washing it, but it it gets kind of a film on the inside of it, kind of a cloudy film, but it'll wash right out. I mean, it's not a big deal. Ooh, I don't know if I can handle that, Doc. I've been some places out here. Usually, if we go out to eat, I'll try to drink the water there, because I try to stay away from the soda. And if I drink caffeine late at night, I'm up half the night. So, there's a couple of restaurants that I just can't drink the water because it tastes bad, and then some of it tastes like sanitizer to me. What's up, Ice? How the heck are you? But nonetheless, so it's been a pretty decent week at work. Got a couple of transmissions done, and Got a torque converter done in one. My coworker next to me did a 9T65 and a Traverse, and I actually put a box in a Traverse. It was sold. Before I left, I got a 19 Blazer that you have to put a switch harness in the shifter. You want to talk about a pain in the butt. You got to take the whole stinking console out of this thing to do this shifter. It's a pain in the can. And of course, they had to have it Friday. And I was like, there ain't no way it's getting done. She waited too long to get it approved. You blame it on her. Hi, David. I don't recognize you, but I'm sure you've probably been here before. Welcome to the Saturday night chat. Kind of a BS event, you know. So anyway, so one of the guys at work, one of the transmissions I built for him, it failed. Well, I don't think it failed. I think something else caused it to fail. But anyway, he lost the 3/4 clutch. Oh, yeah. Let me pause right there and I'll tell you this story. So yesterday before I came home, wife says, "Hey, bring dinner home." Says, "I really don't feel like cooking." I was like, she goes, "Surprise me." I was like, man, what can I get that's going to make it home 45 minutes and still be decent? Because I'm 45 minutes from work easily. And I was like, oh, there's a barbecue joint around the corner. And we've eaten there quite a few times. They're really good. And I was thinking burnt ends sounds fantastic. And I was like, we'll go in there and get some burnt ends. Well, of course I go in there. Of course they're out of burnt ends. So I was in the process of ordering some other stuff. And here comes this lady in the door and says, yeah, we're here a little early, and there's like 4 of us, and you don't need to worry about the appointment since we showed up early. And I'm like, she just butted right in while I'm sitting there talking to this kid, putting the order in a deal. And I looked at him, I was like, that was freaking rude. I said it loud enough that she could hear it, but I don't think she was paying attention because she thought she was the only one there. It just kind of really pissed me off. I was like, I about turned around and told her, I was like, yeah, probably not a good idea since I'm still in my work uniform. But holy cow, I was like, man, have some common courtesy. But anyway. So the transmission deal, he lost 3/4, and I was like, well, let's do a line pressure test on it before you pull it out. So we do a line pressure test. That reminds me, I need to order a new gauge. Broke mine. And this thing has 80 pounds of line pressure, and that's it. Now, on the Tech 2, if you guys are familiar with the Tech 2 scanner for GM, we also have a laptop version that's an emulator, and you can use your laptop in the new MDI scanner interface. Anyway, so you can do a pressure control solenoid test. And basically what you're looking for is when this thing is at normal, which it usually sits like 9/10 of an amp, where 1 amp is base pressure and 0 amps is full line pressure. And you run the thing up to about 1200 RPM when you're doing the test. And when you switch the thing, it'll increment it. It'll do like 10ths of an amp at a time. So in other words, it'll go 1 amp, 9/10, 8/10, 7/10, 6/10, so on and so forth. Well, anyway, as you're getting down close to the 0, of course, it's supposed to have full line pressure, which is about 260, 270 PSI, somewhere in there. It can be like 240 to 270, somewhere in there. So when I'm commanding this thing, it's doing nothing. It's not moving off of it. So before we pulled it out again, we tried it one more time. And this time I unplugged the main connector that goes on the side of the transmission, right there on top on the passenger side. if you pull that off, it should command it full line pressure just by default because there's no current on the solenoid. Well, it still doesn't do anything. I think at one time I got maybe 130 psi, but then as it warmed up a little bit, it dropped back down to 80 psi, and that's where it sat. So we tested the windings through the harness, and it's supposed to be between 3 and 7 ohms is what you're supposed to get for the resistance. I got 4.4 ohms of resistance, which is right there in spec. So needless to say, it's burnt up. So he pulled it out so I can get it apart. I have not pulled it apart yet. I do have it here at the house. So I've got to pull this dude apart and look at the valving, look at the pump, make sure the pump's not broken, and obviously repair the burn up damage. If this thing turns out to be fine and everything's hunky-dory, then that would lead me to having a faulty PCM, and the control circuit is bad. Now, the way the control circuit works on a 4L60E is on the pressure control solenoid, you have a 12-volt side and a 0 side. And the PCM controls both sides of it. It doesn't control just the ground. It actually supplies a 12-volt to the pressure control solenoid, separate from the 12-volt that is on terminal E, which supplies the power for all the solenoids. So we checked all the solenoids, and all the solenoids are clicking. Everything's doing what it's supposed to, and the ground's there. And I get good battery voltage on the terminal E on the harness, which is your main volt or pink wire. So obviously if I get this thing apart and I can't find anything wrong, then this thing has got a probable bad PCM, and the PCM is just not controlling the pressure control solenoid anymore. So obviously, if it was caused by the PCM and not by something I did, it's not under warranty. If it was something that I installed wrong or put together wrong, then it's my baby. But I have a feeling it's not. But just like everybody else, I'll take care of them the best I can. Just that's the way I am. And I should have enough parts here to repair that. I mean, there's not, other than clean up, most of the stuff, I think he's got maybe, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 miles on it, something like that. So at any rate, we're gonna get this thing apart probably tomorrow, and I'll do a video on it. His is one that I have not posted the build video on his transmission. So oh, Doc, you have no idea compared to all these new vehicles. So the story was last week, since we're talking about computers on cars. So about a week or so ago, I've had I'm lost on the cloudy film. Oh, you're talking about in my mug. Yeah, I'm sure it is. But it's just sediment, and your body will filter that out. I'm glad you're doing good, man. I haven't seen you in here in a while. I think about you guys, everybody that comes out here, and I just want to, just make sure that you're okay. But Doc, the computer controls. So starting in 2020 and everything in 2021 uses GM's new VIP architecture, and no, it doesn't stand for very important person. Um, it stands for Vehicle Interface Protocol, if I remember right. But anyway, it basically means that in 2021 and on up, the systems in the vehicle are completely digital now. There's no analog signals on it. It's digital signal. They do that with much smaller wires, and it communicates through different modules. And there is, like on the new Suburban, there's like 6 different network structures in that vehicle, 6 or 7, something like that. You've got what they call a LIN bus, a most network, high-speed GM LAN, low-speed GM LAN, and a couple of others. There's a couple of others. Oh, there's a video data network, something or other. But you'll find in a lot of the new stuff that they use like Cat6 or Cat8 wire network cable that goes in between different modules and USB cables for the speed, especially for the infotainment system. They have in-car wireless network that you cannot see, that the modules will talk back and forth. It's a low power wireless network that some of the modules use to communicate. Besides the in-car Wi-Fi network that your phone will actually connect to, all sorts of BS. And yeah, you're not lying. So I had this 21 or 22 Suburban in. I think it was 21. But anyway, the thing left them stranded, and this has got a push button shifter on it instead of a actual manual lever. It's just push button. Yeah, Danny, that's it. On a 2008, that's an old body style, and he's probably got a Magna Rights shock in it, and they're kind of tough to come up with. The parts situation is not getting any better, I can tell you that. There's lots and lots of stuff that's on back order. It's getting hard to get parts, worse than it is. It's pretty ridiculous. I seen where I'm on part of a GM technician fan page on Facebook, and one of the guys on the post is already putting a battery in like the new Cadillac Lyric. And I guess all the engineers have been out there and wanting to know what failed on it. No, the supply chain has never recovered, and I don't know if it ever will if we don't get some stuff straightened out. Now, there's been rumors, and mind you, these are just rumors that I've seen, that there's a possibility that Ron DeSantis is going to run for president. He has not announced it, and I think he's trying to keep it on the hush hush. We already know the 45 is running for office again, which I think he would be an excellent choice in my opinion. Um, there's also some other good candidates that are out there that could possibly be good choices. Um, I can tell you that Congress needs to work hard at getting things straightened out. The biggest thing that's gonna be is the election integrity. I mean, it's got to be fixed. It has to be fixed. Um, no more of this after the deadline stuff. Still counting ballots. If you ain't got it in by the end of the day, election day, you're out of luck. That's not our fault. Now, you can't keep and stuff can't just keep showing up 7 days later. It's, oh well, we didn't count those. No, that's not the way that works. Oh, I agree, Doc. I think that's the way it needs to be. Um, there's still some other candidates besides Ron and um, some other ones. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll still be around and they won't somebody won't push the button. Um, because I kid you not, the way I see it, I think they really want another uh, another uh, global event. Let's put it that way. Hopefully it won't trigger some words. Yeah, I agree to that, Doc. The censorship thing uh, is really bad too. Um, there's a lot of people that are getting canceled because of the way they think, and that's not fair, really, because I mean you should be able to voice your opinion without worry of being persecuted. Um, put it out there. Let the people decide what they do and don't want to hear. I mean, so I got this video the other day that somebody sent. I think it was a TikTok video. He was following a tourist or something like that, and the guy had one of those scrolling marquees in the back window of his car, and says uh, it says breaking news. There's a shortage. There's a shortage of tampons uh, due to the overwhelming uh, uh, flood of pussies in the country. And I seen that. I'm like to die. Oh my lord, that was funny. The guy that posted it was reading it in the car. He was just dying laughing too. It was just hysterical. I've seen some pretty funny stuff here lately, and it's better than the alternative and the doom and gloom and things that make you just funny. So speaking of doom and gloom, oh, GM Webb just knocked me out. That's all right. I don't need to be in that anymore. Anyway, um, crap, I forgot what I was saying. It was something that was kind of hysterical. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm drawing a blank. Well, let's see. I just can't think of it right now. Anyway, well, I might be trying to. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I needed to see. Um, I've got a class. Um, I've got a class coming up. I can't remember. I'm going to have to go over to Orlando again and oh, it'll let me back in. Check that out. I can't remember what day it is. My enrollments. Okay, it's the 16th, and it's a 1-dayer. Probably ought to get my room reserved. Oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Looking at what I'm looking at is my training site for GM training. I got one more class I got to do to be 100% in diesel. And my electronics one, I'm still trying to work on getting that one up there. A little more involved in that. And then I got to go after the hybrid stuff. If I get all that, I'll be 100% trained in GM. And it's not an easy feat, let me tell you. Once you get there, it's easier to keep your training up. But I had a hiatus from GM for 8 years, and a lot of the stuff that I was trained on, of course, wasn't any good. So I had to go back and do a lot of it again, which kind of stunk, but it is what it is. So anyway, yeah, I go over to Atlanta, or not Atlanta, Orlando. Speaking of which, so my my tech beside me um, went up to Atlanta for a 1-day class and drove back. I'm like, are you kidding me? My butt's too old for that. I can't do that anymore. So it's about 2.5 hours from me from where I'm at now, from work anyway. That's about yeah, it's about 2.5 hours from the house. So it's not too bad. Usually, what I'll do is I'll leave. Um, I try to leave work by about 3. That way, I get there when it's still a little bit light. Because I don't like to drive at night much anymore. I mean, I can, but I don't like to. With these headlights and stuff that they got anymore, it makes it really hard to see. Gas alert. Like I said, I'm gassed up and know where to go. But it's not too bad. It passes pretty quick, and it's kind of back roads too, which is kind of cool because I mean it's if you stay off the toll roads, it's real curvy and stuff, and it's kind of fun. Last time I went there, I got behind this guy in this Tesla, and I kid you not, that dude was cooking it. Caught up to him at the stop sign, but holy cow, he was booking it. Oh goodness. Getting tired. I actually went to bed at like 8:30 last night. I didn't get up until almost 7 this morning. Turned the alarm off and everything, and I was, the hell was that? It was nice just to sleep. I don't get to do that much anymore. Usually too busy doing other stuff. I was gonna do some outside stuff this today, but the rain kind of stopped it. We needed the rain though. We're pretty dry. Plus, it's getting close to that time to start the rainy season, so um, I got to try to do a little mowing tomorrow. Yeah, I know it's only March 4th, and haven't talked about mowing. I got a mess of twigs and leaves I got to clean up. Um, the paddocks, the weeds are like freaking waist high almost. They're growing so fast. Well, Doc, it just seems like this year we had a super mild winter. I can tell you right now, the air conditioner is on here at the house, and it's March, and it's warm enough out there to make the thing run. So yeah, it's crazy. This year has been crazy weird, and it's blooming early. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Well, I don't know if you know my Facebook, but I do have an Instagram. But I don't know. It'd be on my personal page, I guess, more than anything. But anyway, we got azalea bushes down here that bloom this time of year, and holy cow, have they been beautiful this year? Just bright pink, and we got a red one here too, and it's just beautiful. Um, Seen a bunch of bumblebees out in them already, trying to get pollen off of it. They're just gorgeous. Um, so yeah, it's been weird everywhere. Mom said it's been kind of a strange winter up home too. So at any rate, so I've been doing all the talking. What's been going on with you all? I mean, what's new on your end? I had a big old fly in here too. Can't believe there's already a fly. Okay, great balls of fire. Anything? Anything? That's crazy. Oh, did you find me? Cool. How bad things are. Are we in denial, or are we personally in denial of how bad things are? No. I think they're much worse than we're being led to believe, to be honest with you. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't really believe uh, how bad it actually is, like mainly because they don't want to believe. Um, you got to keep an open mind on all this stuff for sure, and I think it would be much worse if I didn't have my faith, because I still believe no matter what happens, uh, the Lord's going to take care of us one way or the other. Um, it may not be the way we think it's going to be, but and it may get really painful, but if you still have faith that you believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins, then you're already saved and uh, you're already in a good place. So um, you just have to kind of try to think positive if you can, even with all the negativity going around. I mean, it may be the end of the world that comes up, but there's another life beyond that. So now, granted, I'd be real sad if I lost these furry kids behind me before their time. Um, because there's a lot of pain that goes along in your heart because of the emotion. Just like losing an actual live loved one. I still grieve for my dad. I wish he was here. Uh, I wish I wish my sister was here. It's still hard to believe that, cancer took my sister. Um, even as much as we fought growing up, when we got older, that quit. And we could actually have a decently civil conversation with each other. Um, Dad was, the smartest guy I knew. Um, he pretty much stood behind me in it and everything that I wanted to do, and gave me encouragement to go this way. But he also told me a long time ago that I should have stuck to the computer side of it and just kept going with my networking uh, stuff that I was doing. And I look back on it. I look back all the times he told me to do certain things for a reason, and I should have listened to him, but I didn't. But on the same token, it also makes me who I am today. So I'm not perfect by any means. Um, I still work very hard to try to keep this roof over our head and food on the table. And, my wife, God bless her, she has just been working her tail off. Just comes home exhausted, but she has been a trooper lately. And You know, I love her even despite that we have issues. I mean, it's just the way a married couple works, but I still love her, and I really got a lot of respect for her for, sticking it out and realizing that it's going to take two of us to make this household thing work. And we got to consider that old Bessie's. I've got to retire Bessie here for too long. I'm getting to the point where I don't trust her much, um, just because of her age and the condition that she's in. Um, so been kind of keeping my eye out for something. I think I've got something in mind, but I want it to be a surprise. She'll either love it or hate it. That's the way I look at it. Hopefully, she doesn't hate it. Yeah, I've still got my mom, and in fact, Dana and I were talking about that tonight. That I probably ought to get up there and see her. Which she's right. I need to. I'm just trying to think of a time that I can take some time off to do that. Um, we'll have to wait and see what happens anyway. But anyway, well, somebody's going off there. Let's see what that's all about. That sounds like Facebook notification. Yeah, that's for sure, Doc. That is for sure. See if I can get to it from. I don't remember how to do that on here. Wow. No, I didn't see that one. Doc, that mess in East Palestine is pretty bad. And of course, everybody's pointing a finger and nobody wants to own up. Oh, I know what it was. I wanted to say. So, have you all been paying attention to uh, the latest news about the cyber attacks? Apparently, that's been pretty bad lately, um, and it just keeps coming. I think that's the kind of war we're going to end up in. It is an information war more than anything. Um, Strictly my opinions. Um, I think the technology is getting out of control, um, just like this AI thing. Man, if that takes off anymore and it gets in the wrong hand or it's used in the wrong way, we're in a world of trouble. And we'll be living out the true Terminator movie for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to leave you all with the thought of this. Like Doc said, make sure to take and be with family as much as you can because family is the utmost important. Everything else can wait. Um, we don't know what kind of time we've got, but I'd say if you're still a believer, you need to pray um, and need to make sure that you understand your faith and what it means to be a Christian on top of that. And, you know, give the ones closest to you a big squeeze because it may not be there tomorrow. That being said, uh, make sure to take care of each other, take care of yourself. God bless you and God bless America. May you have a good night and we'll see you next week.